Hey guys, welcome to the Cancellable Podcast. I'm Faisal and I'm here with Korosh.
Hey everyone.
That's it? That's all you're going to
How
say?
are you? You doing?
Sound good, thank you.
Barry is still not here,
Yeah, Buddy is not here. We let him go.
as you guys requested, because
Yeah,
everyone called him a
He
bitch.
was just slurring his words,
Yeah,
racial slurs.
left and right, man. The number of N-words I had to bleep out of this guy, like legit.
If you see him out there in public, please
Slap him.
no. Let him know he hurt people. He hurt them.
Okay.
But yes, Bardi is not here for a bit. He will be back soon, inshallah. And we miss him somewhat.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, move on.
We love him. And yes, Korosh,
I have
tell
something
me.
prepared for you. Have you heard about this new Taylor Swift documentary that came out?
I know nothing about Taylor Swift. I mean, I know she's a singer and stuff like that. But I mean, no, I didn't even. I think the only thing I've ever seen on TV about her is they always film their concerts like it's a movie. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so basically, let me just give disclaimers from now before everyone tears us a new asshole.
Are you talking about the Swifties?
Anyone.
Fantastic people. Fantastic people. Really respectful people. Love them.
So basically, I was watching an episode of Flagrant with Andrew Schultz, and he mentioned this documentary that came out, and I was like, okay, let me look into it, see what it is. So the concept, apparently there was a conflict between Taylor Swift and this other guy called Scooter Braun. And Scooter Braun was he's a manager, artist manager, I think they called him. And he was the one that discovered Justin Bieber and came up with him. And then later on went on to represent Kanye and Ariana Grande and like big people, basically. So some conflict happens between them in 2019 that outrages the internet, basically. So this documentary is two-part documentary. Episode 1 is about Taylor Swift's side of the story, and then episode 2 is about Scooter's side of the story. Any information I'm sharing is not my opinion. Just FYI.
Disclaimer: whatever we discuss here is not of our own opinion.
It's from
It
the
is
documentary.
from a documentary.
Yeah.
You can fight with them.
What? You don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna say.
I'm helping.
Okay.
But anyone with the name Scooter is kind of sus, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, my name's Scooter.
Especially because he discovered he was 20 something. He discovered a 13-year-old Justin Bieber on YouTube and hit him up, and for a while there was weird rumors there, but it never.
Are you talking about what's his name, P Diddy rumors?
They were saying it's weird. Why are you looking at a 13-year-old singing on YouTube? You know,
Talent.
yeah. But honestly, in the second episode, when they give his life story and how he got to where he was, it makes sense to an extent. But it's the music industry. There's always weird shit behind the scene. But basically, the general argument against it around this documentary is about Taylor Swift's masters being sold not to her, but to. So basically, she had 6 albums out at this point with this label company, and instead of it being sold back to Taylor Swift, so she owns her own masters, it was sold to this guy Scooter Braun.
First of all, what is a master? Do you know?
So master is for example, let's say you're an up-and-coming artist, right? And a label signs you. They give you upfront cash for your potential to grow. You take that cash. Basically, you own your lyrics and rap or whatever it is. But then the the label company owns the master recording of that song, for example. So then I'm not sure about this part, but if there's a licensing deal to be done and everything, a lot of it goes to the label company. And they're thinking it's a very old school setting in the music industry, and it is because let's say they sign 20 people and only one of them make it, but they've paid upfront cash to 20 people. That's their way of recouping the money on their investment, basically, because 19 of them most likely are going to fail or drug overdose or whatever it is. And so overall this deal went down for $300 million, and the general outline is that Taylor Swift, after Scooter Braun buys her masters, she fucking goes to the internet and basically rallies her fans to just demolish this guy. And then I'll walk you through the storyline, and there's a lot of different avenues that it goes. And I mean, not everyone is every avenue is 100% confirmed, but this is the general outline that they give on the documentary. So in 2009, I'm sure you know about this. Taylor Swift is like her first big award. I think it's the MTV Awards or something. She's on stage. Kanye jumps on stage and she's like, "You had a great music video with Beyonce. Yours was like one of a kind." That went fucking viral everywhere.
Yeah.
And obviously that hurts Taylor a little bit. But later on in the interviews and SNL sketches and everything, she says what she wants to say and like get it over it. Basically, it doesn't escalate from there. And she at that point signs with a label. I think it's called The Big Machine. That relatively is a small label at the time. But because she joins them and she's so famous at the time, other artists come to the label.
She propels them.
Yeah, and the label gets big because of that as well. And then there's a brief like meeting point in 2010 that she meets Scooter Braun, but nothing major. Like it's just because she was around Justin Bieber and that guy, Scooter Braun, I think at the time was Justin Bieber's manager. And one thing they mentioned about Scooter is that like he's not the typical like artist manager that likes to be in the background as like wearing a suit and everything. He likes to be in the limelight. He's always in the photos in the background of videos, kind of like P Diddy style.
He was in there was a song that Drake, if I'm not mistaken, Drake had with Justin Bieber in the music video, and he mentions Scooter Braun in it.
Okay, yeah.
And he's in the music video. Like the guy is dancing.
So apparently
a manager's dancing. You know, it's pretty funny.
It's kind of similar to like the Diddy's upcoming because I'm pretty sure he was a manager at the time and like he started to insert himself in like music videos.
Did you know that? Did you follow the P Diddy his rise to fame?
Not really. I've seen it around like when they're talking about Biggie and stuff. There's always like a small segment about Diddy being around him, but not specifically. I haven't looked into it.
At a very young age, he became. I mean, he was right beside the CEO of the record label that he was working at the time, and both his CEO and the CEO's mentor were homosexuals. And there's things mentioning that they liked P Diddy because they wanted to Diddy him.
Yeah.
Diddy is whole.
That's origin stories.
No, but many people were talking about it, and they even brought out Will Smith and all this kind of stuff, and people in many different interviews and stuff always say never go to a P Diddy party.
Yeah, especially now they're shining a light on it. I mean,
yeah, but anyway, back to the Scooter Braun.
Basically, then the general story is 2013. Taylor Swift comes out and says that she was groped by a radio host. And
Taylor Swift says that.
Yeah, and they don't go into detail in the documentary on like what it was, if it was just a touch or like more than that. But she gets him fired, and then the guy sues her, and they go to court. Apparently, she wins, and she wins the countersuit. But just like she asked for $1 as like the payment for it, as like a matter of principle. So this sets up two things. One is that like her like fame is getting bigger and there's people following her and the jury was on her side and everything, but also says that like she's doing it out of principle, not just to like win
compensation
money. Not win money out of people. So it's just like showing a little bit of her character at a young age. This was 2013. And then in 2016, Scooter and Kanye link up. He becomes his manager or one of his managers, I guess. And then Kanye makes a song, and in it there's a reference to Taylor Swift. That I don't remember the exact line.
That they have sex.
Yeah, she was like, "I made you famous, so I think you owe me sex, and I'll still have sex with you." Like there was like along these lines. I don't remember the exact lyrics. And in the music,
he just says, "Me and Taylor might still have sex."
There's that, and then there's another line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's another line, and then in the music video is like wax figures of like Kanye West with like a bunch of other people naked in bed, and one of them is Taylor Swift, like tits out and everything. And Taylor, in a award ceremony following that, comes out and basically indirectly like this is Kanye and like saying that it's fucked up that you did that. And at this point, everyone was going bad on Kanye. Kim leaks a full audio like video that it shows Kanye is on the phone with Taylor Swift. Asking for permission. And the way the video goes is he's asking permission for one of the lines, which is we still have like you owe me sex, but not for the other line, basically. And in the video, she doesn't give her she doesn't say it's okay. She just says that, oh, it wasn't as bad as you built it up to be, and I'll think about it. But basically, this kind of like discredits Taylor a little bit in the eyes of the public, because beforehand she was like, "Oh, I had no knowledge of this coming out," or that sort of thing. Sorry.
She also has that image of a Southern girl, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she started in country music.
Yeah, so it's country music. So the fan base there is pretty conservative in that way, And then having Kanye and Kim, being the most morally sound people, telling you, like.
Yeah, but the funny part in the video is, I don't know if you've seen the video or not, but if you watch the full video, like Kanye is kind of like, he's being like a little boy around her. It's like, listen, I know you have like crazy fans and like 2 billion fans, and like I just don't want to like. Basically, he's being like
he's
playful.
sucking up to her.
Yeah,
I know. She's a powerhouse. She's the only. I think she was the only artist that got Apple, being such a huge company, to pay artists more.
Really?
Yeah. No one else could do it, and she said, "Look, I'm gonna be taken off I'll get off the platform, but you need to pay a certain amount." And again, at such a young age and stuff, regardless of her music and what her music's about and stuff, she has that momentum. So, which is crazy. Like her fan base is huge.
I think at the time she was relatively big, but not like crazy big yet. After like people start like feeling weird about her, she starts getting some hate online, and there was like a shitload of memes that like calling her a snake, basically Kim Kardashian holding a snake and all that shit. And Scooter was obviously Kanye's manager this whole time that the music video came out and everything. And people think that Taylor from that point on kind of thought, obviously blamed Kanye, but blamed him in the background as well, because he was the manager. And apparently over the years, he's become really good at keeping the news going about your artist, whoever the artist is. So there seems to be a little bit of animosity from Taylor's side. And then in 2018, Taylor tries to renegotiate her contract to get her master recordings back from the label at the time. And excuse me. So basically, she's been with this label for 13 years at this point under the same contract that she started with. Yeah, the Big Machine. 13 years, like when she signed it, she was nobody basically. And now she's raised to like, I don't know, fucking top 10 people in the world. So, which is fair. Like, you want to change your contract. And the label says that the only way so at the point she has 6 albums, she's like, the only way we give you your masters back is for every one new album that you put out, we'll give you the master for like one previous one. Yeah. And so they leave it at that. And this is 2018. And at this point, she leaves the label and goes to another label. I think it's called something Nation. I forgot the name. And basically, this is not in the documentary, but this what they were talking about in the Flagrant episode, that the reason she goes to a different label is that label promises her that if you sign with us, we'll get your masters back. So at this point, Scooter has a different business, and he sells it for $1 billion just to know his net worth at the time. And then at this point that he sells his business, journalists start showing interest and like, okay, who's this guy? What's his background and everything? And as they go around to like ask about him, they said like they talked to like 50 business insiders and everything. Everyone seems to be like a little scared to share information on him. Not scared as in like he's gonna kill them, but like more like he holds some weight in the business. Like he can hold it over you. In 30th of June, 2019, Scooter buys the label company Big Machine for over 300 million. And basically, from what I heard, is Taylor Swift masters were worth about 140 million of that 300. So I mean that's a huge chunk of the company. 50% of it. Yeah, but also he's buying other people, like other masters and everything that comes with that label company. At this point, Taylor goes online and she starts like putting long messages that this is the worst case scenario. She claims that, I didn't know. They ask her like, when did you find out about this? Did you have any prior knowledge? She's like, no, I found out with everyone else. And this is fucked up. The label knew I want to buy it from them. Why wouldn't they come to me first? And this is... this is in 30th of June, same day as it's released, and all of this happens, and basically people start feeling bad for her because it's her fucking masters she worked at, and people don't apparently completely understand the music industry and how the contracts work. So 22nd of August 2019, she says that she's gonna re-record all of her albums. So apparently she had a clause in her contract that like after 2 years of those 6 albums being finished, she can remaster them basically.
Okay.
But it can't be identical from what I understand. So she comes in August and says that she's going to do it. And then in November, she goes online. I don't know if it was an award ceremony or online. She says that Scooter Braun and this other guy named Scott was the owner of Big Machine originally. They are saying that you can't play your old music from 6 albums in front of people and all of that because that is considered as like, I don't know, breaking
Their property and whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And then she says that she can only play it under 2 conditions, is to agree not to record the copycat version of the songs and also to stop talking about Scooter and the label owner completely, basically sign an NDA.
Yeah.
And she's like, fuck that. And she goes to her fans and she asks the fans for help. And at this point, she goes to a few different award ceremonies and the way that she's talking about it is that how music industries have been holding females back more than men, and apparently there is evidence of this. I don't know shit about music industry. I barely listen to music.
I think a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah, so these are the claims, and she goes and talks about it, and then you see a huge support online from all different types of artists, like female, male, everyone supporting her that this is fucked up, like what they're doing to her and everything. So November 2020, there's rumors that are then proven to be correct. The Scooter sold the masters to a different company called Shamrock Capital. It was a private investment group, I think, but it's owned by Disney. And he sold it for more than 300 million. But Taylor makes the claim that although he sold it, he's still getting a percentage of the profit from those masters every time they're being used. Just a caveat, FYI, on Flagrant, they said that the reality of the situation was when the Shamrock Group wanted to buy the masters, they thought it's too big of a risk because she could remaster it and the fans wouldn't listen to the shit, the big investment. So what the Shamrock Group did was they paid less for it and basically told Scooter that you have to work to get the rest of the money. Basically, keep this record going. Yeah. So it wasn't that he was getting a straight cut off the profits. It was that he had to prove that these masters are still...
keep it alive.
Yeah, but this comes in like from outside the documentary, so I don't know anything about it. I just heard it on Flagrant. And then 2019 onwards, basically after she asked her fans for help, Scooter starts getting like death threats. Him, his family, his children, and everyone at the label, everyone surrounding them, anyone that's on any team basically. Because is it the Taylor Hive or the Swifties? Or no, Hive is Beyonce, is the Swifties. Yeah. So they're going after everyone. And what happens after that? Sorry. Okay, so this is basically where it ends on the Taylor episode, if I'm correct, and then it goes to the Scooter side. So a little bit of background on Scooter was he was the one that found Justin Bieber, and he wasn't a typical manager. He was more of a big brother, and the way he got into this industry was apparently in college he was throwing like really good parties. And he gets famous for that. He gets signed by a label to basically do that. And then he goes on to become like throwing like parties for Snoop Dogg and Shaq and like really big people. And that basically puts him on the path to go where he ends up. Meets Justin Bieber, everything. Then the documentary jumps to June 30th, 2019, which is when news breaks that he bought the label. But I think I give most of this. So they're talking about like how Taylor's contract was. 2003, she signs the contract, and as I told you before, like she gets paid up front, and then she signs away the right to her shit. But then what's interesting is they brought a few different lawyers in the second episode of the documentary, and they're going over her contract and everything. And they say that there's nothing outrageous here. This is a standard like industry contract. And from Scooter's side, he's done nothing wrong. He's basically just paid for the label, and with that label comes what he paid for. And
doesn't mean that.
bro, I think your mic has cut out. Push your cable back in. Talk.
Yeah.
Talk.
Better.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't mean that if it's not outrageous, it doesn't mean that it's not right, you know? Especially in the music and the film industry, a lot of people think, you know, oh my God, look at that actor, he's making so much money. But what about the people who are managing him? What about the people who, you know, who have him on a deal and stuff, who make the movies? They probably make 5-6 times more than what he'll ever make, you know? And granted, it's become more favorable in recent years because there is that platform where actors and singers can talk about how they feel like they're mistreated or they're not paid enough.
I feel like individuals getting more power back rather than being run by other companies.
Exactly. Because if you think about it, the Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, these people, their contracts and how much they were being paid was like, you know, the Spice Girls themselves
Dog
right
shit,
now,
yeah.
they're dog shit. Like they're not rich.
Yeah.
They, you know, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, they don't have that much compared to if you look now at Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, and you know these people used to run the world.
Yeah.
So it's.
But basically, what was happening is that the way the documentary frames it is that when Taylor was going on like different award ceremonies and giving speeches against this, she was very careful using the terms she uses. And this was the same era around the Me Too movement. So she was using words like "they did this without my consent." And which doesn't apply to contracts and like that's basically
it's something else.
This is what the lawyers are claiming, and so she was basically saying that her master's was being stolen, and the attorneys were saying that this is false. The guy did a legal purchase of a company, and with the company came all the contracts that they previously owned.
No, I mean, if you look at it from one side, it could be that in her eyes, it's considered a bad contract, although it's standard, right? And she wants her power back. She wants she wants her masters.
She worked for, basically.
Yeah, so she wants that. And the thing is that, again, if you're someone who, you know, in terms of law, nothing has been broken, what's your best alternative? To go to the public that support you and say, listen, you know, they're doing this. I don't think she ever said they did anything illegal.
No, there was never illegal. Oh, I think Dave Chappelle did this with the Chappelle show a couple of years ago. He went on saying that like he's still I don't know what happened, but he basically got ownership of the show because of the fan support. So like this has become a thing.
I think the thing is that especially with Dave Chappelle, you see, Dave Chappelle is, you know, they always give him props for being someone who said no, you know, because. I don't know if you know about this. There's like this shaming ritual that people talk about. It's a conspiracy thing here, where those big media execs and, you know, Hollywood powerhouses that are there, if they want something from you, you have to be willing to be devoted to them.
Bend the knee, basically.
Bend the knee, exactly, bend the knee. And you have examples of, we had discussed before with that gentleman, what's his name? The one from White Chicks, the big guy.
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews. Yeah. He said that, you know, he was molested. And they told him, you know, if you want to get big, you let me do what I would do. Dave Chappelle himself, and he said it outright, you know. He said that I was told to do for a certain amount of money in that time, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, was 400 million or 800 million. And he would be ridiculed because he saw that the sketches and stuff were rather than it being comedy, it was comedy pointed at him.
Yeah.
You know,
at his expense.
And the thing is that when he rejected it, that's where Dave Chappelle has had a psychotic break came out, and you know there was another actor. His name is Martin Lawrence, and Dave Chappelle talks about him. He says that, you know, I noticed that even Martin Lawrence, they said they found him on the highway shouting, "They're gonna come get me! They're gonna come get me!" And he was half naked and stuff. He disappeared after that. Martin Lawrence disappeared.
He was a massive deal.
He was huge. He had movies every year and stuff.
Even on the comedy scene, he was like one of the biggest stand-up comedians ever. Like comedy
and the funny thing is that, you know, like we've talked about this before. There's always this ceremonial thing where when an actor or something wants to get big, they'll wear a dress. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, the Cat Williams claims, right?
Yeah, the Cat Williams. Which, you know, again, Cat Williams is full of shit, right? But the thing is that with experience and what he was able to see, there is some truth behind these things he said.
Oh,
he
100%.
called out P. Diddy.
Yeah.
He called out these guys, and it's not that he's a genius. He was there. He goes to these parties. Now he
sees the patterns, and he obviously kind of amplifies everything. But
but that's what a comedian does. Right? He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
He'll sit. You can't lie. His interviews are very, very interesting. How he talked about it. How he said this.
That's why he got so many. Bro, his
career came back.
Came back. It went fucking crazy.
And that's the thing, because a lot of the things he said. Although some of them were pretty funny because it was outrageous.
Yeah.
But some hit the mark. And Dave Chappelle is one of those very fine examples of that. Keeping your morality and keeping your internal guidelines of what you believe is right and wrong, principles, exactly. Yeah. He came back and they had to give him rights to that, because otherwise he'd go and find someone else who would give him, because he didn't give a shit about money.
Yeah.
Money is good and all this.
That's the thing. When you're good on money, it's really hard to control you. I think Rogan always talks about having fuck you money. Is that like when you reach a certain point that no one can leverage money over you, you can say fuck you to anyone that's saying something to you, which is like a very privileged.
What's the freedom in that? It's like they say that everyone can be bought. There's always a level at which a person is willing to do something for a certain amount of money.
Yeah, last episode I said for 500 million I'll be chased till the day I die.
Exactly. But imagine the relief knowing that you don't need anything from anyone. Yeah. You are self-made. You have everything. Your bank account, imagine the billionaires in this world now, the 2% or let's say 1%. If they wanted to, they can't get rid of their money. They can't buy what they want to buy. Of course, they can try to buy a country and buy this, but those things aren't for sale usually, Yeah. But if they wanted to, they couldn't.
Yeah.
So
But there was a comedian, Brian Callen, was talking about how much money is because there is a lot of people talk about this. There's a peak of where this amount of money will bring you this amount of joy, and after that, it's not it doesn't stay on the same trend. After
it plateaus.
Yeah, he was talking about, for him at least, which kind of connected with me, was the perfect amount of money for me. I'm not saying that if I have more, I'm going to complain, but is when you go to a restaurant or a shop and you never have to check prices. He's that amount is the maximum amount of happiness you can get, and you can't get more happiness than that, exponentially more.
But that's the thing, what I discussed with you about, and we've talked about it before. Money makes the world... Is it working? Because
you're good.
Money makes the world go round regardless of what you want to believe, right? Yeah. People say, I'd rather be happy than have money, right? That's right to an extent, yeah? You can have all the money in the world and feel lonely, okay? But there are certain things you'll have insecurity.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's why I believe people who become so successful then become corrupted in the sense that they don't get joy from doing that anymore. They have to get into something, like I've said before, taboo, something that
more becomes about power than...
Not just power, because you see with power, they say power corrupts, right? But money brings power. If you, Korosh, are someone who's worth 50 billion, you have people working outside for 3,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
And you go to them and you say to them, look, for you, 10,000 a month is... Nothing. It's you...
Suspect.
It won't even come into your financial statements because your billions will be going there. At 10, it'll be sent to you. Yeah. And you'll give it to this person. You give this person 10,000. That person's life has changed.
Yeah.
For you, it's nothing. That's where you get the power. That's where you can manipulate someone. These people will be willing to give you anything you want because you've changed their life from what it was until what it is now.
Yeah.
And that's why people with money comes power, because people hold money as a certain power.
Of course.
There are people that can get you killed. Mafia bosses that can get you murdered and this kind of stuff. You have the CIA, the FBI. But that is selective power. You know what I mean? You have the chance to kill someone or end someone, but with money. Although hard to get, funny thing is that, I was explaining with a co-worker, how they say when there was these riots, not riots, protests talking about we are the 98% and 2% and stuff like that. Anyone who's interested and see how the world is such a I wouldn't say unfair place, but look at how the overall distribution of money is so changed. People over the age of 30 that have if I'm not mistaken, $100,000 in their bank account, or they have assets worth 100,000, are in the upper echelon of the world. Meaning, like, they're in the 98th percent.
I think it's less than that because what was his name? Steven something. He's one of those guys that, like, you see his videos. He goes on like different campuses and he says, "I think this." Come argue.
Matt, are you talking about Matt Walsh?
No.
I know who you're talking about. The other guy who says,
Steven
"Change my mind."
Crowder, I think. Yeah, Change My Mind. And he had an exact video on this, on like around those times that those protests were going on about the 98%. And like, you're 90% of what? Because the average income in US, I think, is $36,000 a year. And US is one of the top countries, like if you take an average, like income wise. So I think if you're like, forget 100,000, I think even if you're making 50K a year, you're in like the top whatever.
No. But you see, there's a difference. Making it is different.
Assets or having
you see the problem, and luckily, I mean, this is something I learned because of my profession, right?
Yeah.
Majority of the people you meet are from hand to mouth.
Yeah.
They live on credit cards. They live, and by the way, it's not that they live on credit cards for the sake of it being that, oh, I live on credit cards because the world's tough.
Yeah.
It's because a lot of people, and I myself have been a victim of this, is I like to keep a certain image of myself.
Right.
I want to buy the nice car. I want to go to the nice restaurant. Do you really need to go to a nice restaurant every week? No. You have, mashallah, you have these workers out there. And sorry if I'm getting really into this.
No, it's good.
Because it's something I realize, I complain, and I'm sure all of us complain we don't have enough money, or, I could always have more money. And you sit there, you get your salary, and you see it going to many things, your bills, your car, your this. And then you sit and you see, these Filipino and these Indians and these other expats that work and they do jobs that, it's double the labor, right? Physical labor.
Probably more than double, to be honest.
No, I'll tell you, I don't like to call them office boys. You know how they say they have office boy. We have an office coordinator in our office, and he gets paid 500 dirhams a month.
Jesus, man.
How is that possible? And he sends that money home.
I guarantee he sends like 450 home.
And the thing is that, I know for a fact I couldn't make it work for myself. Faisal would cease to exist, The thing is that, especially in Dubai, and this is where, you see all those videos of flashy Dubai and flashy. Yeah. I will put money on the table telling you 90% of them are bankrupt.
Oh, yeah.
And then you take it into the wider thing. Why do banks make such a killing? Because people don't save. They don't know how to save. Saving it. You have some people that save, but then you have these gurus out there saying, "Yeah, you're in the rat race. You're going to be doing this till you die, and you'll never have a vacation."
Yeah.
Buy my
red pill course, basically.
Red pill course. Yeah. Do stocks. Do this. I'm in finance, and I'm telling you, stock market doesn't make sense majority of the time.
Yeah.
Crypto, joke.
We saw that.
Yeah. But this money thing is such a... I'm not saying it's easy to become a millionaire or something like that. It's not. Because, with a business idea, there is also a part of luck that comes into it.
100%.
Hitting something at the right time, doing this. But people can... when you talk, especially when you said about, people were outraged by being the 98%.
Yeah.
It's because that 98% is so badly invested.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. It's the, I wouldn't say capitalism. It's
just the world we live in, man.
It's the world we live in, and how easily it is to manipulate. You're constantly bombarded by consumption.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Especially nowadays with like social media and everything you see, like...
Korosh, you swipe your phone. One thing that terrifies me. I'm sitting with my mother, I'm sitting with my brother, and I say, you know what? I want to take my mom to Italy. Inshallah, I want to take her. She's Italian, yeah? 2 seconds later, my phone is talking about Italy. You want this class. You want this. The best restaurant in Italy. The best. Wow.
Bro, I got to tell you about something about this because I was watching a podcast on this. There's this guy on YouTube. I don't know how much you like American military, like individual stories, like individuals, like he's a Green Beret or he was a former SEAL and everything. There's a guy on YouTube that I recently discovered. His channel is called Sean Ryan Show.
Sean Ryan.
Yeah, he was an ex-Navy SEAL, used to work for CIA. He brings on ex-vets. He brought on this hacker that's known to be the most ethical hacker in the world, which basically goes on the dark web and tries to find pedophiles, and exposes them and everything. He has a lot of interesting, like he had the people, two of the members of the Delta Force that found Saddam Hussein, or he has the CIA operative that they made that movie 13 Hours in Benghazi about. Really, really fascinating show. And each podcast is like 4 hours long. So it's a lot of time. But he was talking to a hacker about how these phones and everything listen to the thing we've discussed a million times. One of the guys that was a ex-Navy SEAL. He was talking about what they can do with your phone, even if you have the battery removed. Or their hacker was talking about how, regardless of if it's a chip in your phone, laptop, TV, the range of shit they can do to you, how much they can listen to you, or the new rumors about the Amazon, what's that device? Echo?
I have no idea, to be honest.
I don't want to say the name, but
it's
like Siri,
okay,
but
so
the
you're
other one
talking
because
about
we
that
have it
Siri
in the
thing, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, there's suspicions that the new ones has infrared readings in it, so they can place you where in your house you are.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Well, anyways, check out this guy's show. It's fucking fantastic. One of the best podcasts there are out there.
I mean, I will check it out. I already have a little bit of issues of what you said with the guy because, again, it's like when people talk about Osama bin Laden. A lot of people, it's very funny when they say, we found him. You know where they found him?
Really? No.
In his house.
Okay.
Years they were looking for this guy, and then at the end they found him in his house, which they knew his house was there. So it's again, and there's a very big thing where they said that we killed him and then we cremated his body out at sea.
Yeah.
Right? Out of respect for him. They hung Saddam Hussein in Eid.
Yeah.
When you're not supposed to kill someone, they hung him.
Yeah.
You know
what's fascinating about this show? Because I've always had fascination since I was young with the military. I always, at the bottom of my heart, wanted to be a soldier and all of that, right? One thing I always had conflict with was how can you, as an individual, put aside what you think your government is doing wrong and go with it? Like a lot of soldiers talk about, they couldn't make sense of why they went to Iraq, like American soldiers, and they still can't come to terms with it. But usually in interviews, soldiers, at least back in the day, it was all like, it's about patriotism. You go for your country. You go where they send you. What's interesting about his show is it's because they're all ex-military members. They have a different perspective on it. They are questioning things that, at least for me, I was questioning from before. I was like, okay, I don't understand this. Like in the latest episode I was listening to, he was interviewing this other special forces guy that worked for the CIA, and he was talking about, do you think we are the evil people? Like America, they're like, he was talking about the host as he was saying that as there's more documents getting declassified and we see our impacts around the world, and this is shit that everyone else other than America has always been saying that maybe it's you guys are funding and everything.
Yeah, but the thing, you see, at the time CIA wasn't funded by the government. I'm sure you know this, right?
Yeah.
So the CIA had to find ways of funding itself.
Right.
And one of those ways was narcotics.
Yeah.
So they would pump narcotics into the US.
Not just into US.
No, I'm saying
to the black communities.
To the black communities
US.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they did it in their own soil, their own country. Yeah. So if you want to talk about morality, agencies like the CIA never had it. Because at the end of the day, a nail and a hammer. They do something, they do it. They will, which they've done, topple governments, topple empires, topple this. And this has always been the case, I would say from my experience and seeing all these videos and stuff like that and talking to people, it's not to blame the soldiers who go and thinking they're defending their country.
Yeah.
But how are you defending your country by being 400,000 kilometers away in the mountains of Afghanistan and this kind of stuff? When they come back, are upset because they're like, what did I do there?
Especially when you consider like most of the people that joined during the hype of the conflicts that involved the US, like they were hit at home. I don't want to name that because YouTube gets weird about it. They were hit at home. You're a bunch of like 18, 19-year-olds that watch the footage of what happened to your fellow citizens and you sign up. Bro, you and I at 19. I don't fucking know shit about the war.
But that's the thing. That's exactly what they do. You see, there's a very good, I don't know if you ever heard of this band called System of a Down.
No.
Yeah, they have a song. It's called, I think it's BYOB. Bring your own bombs, it says, yeah. And one of the lyrics says, why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor? Okay. Right. The thing is that exactly as you said, when that event happened, you had youngsters who, first of all, they're young, emotional. They've just seen people from their, it's always me, them, you know what I mean? It's always my tribe has been hit, my people have been hit. And then they point the finger at these people and you're constantly bombarded with a one-side information. Yeah. That's why now information is so important and why they want to have that grasp on you is because both sides now can be projected out.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening in Gaza and such. You see that you're not just getting what the Western media is putting. You're getting it from all sides.
Yeah.
A child can have a camera out and film what's going on, and then that hits millions of people.
Yeah.
It's very shocking. Young people around the world are rising up and telling that, look, it's wrong what's happening there. And this has been happening since if I'm not mistaken, 67.
While.
A while.
A long while.
But only now because of technology, which was used to control, is also having that freedom that's there. Yeah. So it's crazy. But I understand completely that these guys who are in the military, ex-military, honestly, they have time to reflect.
Fascinating stories. Like I told you, like maybe this is my personal taste, maybe it's not your thing or the listener's thing.
No, I've always been interested in military history.
The stories that individuals are talking about, it's insanely good. Like there's stories that, like, even if you're just interested in like the training Navy SEALs go through before any combat story, before any objective, before any country invasion, anything, the details they go through and everything, it's a fantastic podcast. Like definitely give it a listen.
I will send it to me, and also we can post it for people.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description as well.
I mean, it's very interesting. I sort of listened to. There's this. It's called Wartime Stories. It's a YouTube thing, and I think I've told you about it before. I would like to say that our channel is always looking at the mysterious and this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
these are military accounts of mythical creatures that people have seen.
Right.
So there's like after a certain year, an NDA becomes void, right?
Right.
So soldiers can talk about certain stories, and they talk about, how when they're in Iraq, they saw a jinn, which is like, the equivalent of a ghost or a demon and stuff in the desert they saw. And the illustrations the person uses is very interesting. So, I mean, I can imagine. But yeah, I would love to listen to that podcast. Okay. And
should we get back to Taylor?
Yeah, sorry.
Because this is... No, it was a fascinating conversation, but this is where it gets interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember everything I told you before, but I'll remind you as we go along. Mm-hmm. Basically, so at this point, we are on the Scooter side of the story, and we're at the point after the sales where Taylor has claimed that she found out when the public found out, and didn't have a chance to buy it. She wasn't notified or anything. Scooter, which is now, Scott, the owner of the Big Machine label, comes out that says that this is false claims, that he texted her beforehand, there was communication, and he gave her a chance to buy her masters, and he makes the evidence public. There's email, text messages, everything. And she basically didn't want to sign that deal, and she moved on from it, and she says that... exactly. In the email, she says that she wants to move on. Another interesting fact is Taylor's dad, he was a big finance guy. I think he was in the Chase Bank and everything. At a time in 2003 when she signed with this label company, he bought 3% of the shares for like $125,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He kept the shares. At the time that Scooter bought this label, that his shares were worth $15.1 million.
Wow.
So there's no fucking way your dad is the shareholder and you don't know about the sale.
100%.
Yeah. Right? But then Taylor comes out and says that she didn't have knowledge of this, and her dad says that I just bought the shares, but I wouldn't open any company emails or nothing, so we weren't informed about this. But there's
No. It's not that you weren't informed about this. You didn't check.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, like, so.
But there's still the communications that. By the way, to this day on the Big Machine website, all the evidence they've posted it there. But there's still the stuff that Scott posted that she knew and she passed on the deal. And then another board members on the same day that the sale happened comes out and calls her a liar basically and bashes her. And he claims that she's playing the victim, and he claims that this is what she's done. And he claims it, just to be clear, that he
not you,
not me. I don't know anything about this. That she's been playing the victim, and that's what she's been doing her whole career. And then people start people who are against Taylor at this point, and they're on Scooter's side. They look at her history, and she had a beef with Katy Perry apparently back in the day, and it was over a simple thing like backup dancers. Apparently, Katy Perry took the backup dancers from Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift puts out a music video that it's a bunch of female icons, and it's a very violent video, she's bashing through walls and beating people up.
I remember that.
I don't remember the name of the song, but then people are like, even she's the victim there, she is pointing to violence. Even when she's playing the victim in this, when either playing or is the victim in this story, she's still rounding up her fans to attack Scott, Scooter, everyone at the label, and there's threats of violence against Scooter's kids, which is fucked up, 2-3-year-olds or some shit like that.
No, but again, I would say the fans themselves, me having so many fans, I can tell you.
I'm your fans, Eddie.
I can tell you that, she might hate someone, but these death threats, I don't think it's from her directly. It's just these zealots, these knights that think they're her knights.
Yeah, because all the information that was public from her, communication to the fans, it was let them know we see. That's basically the general outline. But then there comes the argument that if you have such a big fandom and you know the strength of that fandom, when you put that message out, not everyone's gonna be mellow about it.
True.
But does that fall on the artist or on the individual that's posting that tweet or whatever?
It's I don't know if you know the Beatles. Have you
heard
the
of
Beatles?
them, yeah.
There was a guy in it called John Lennon, and his greatest fan killed him. It's like what kind of interpretation of love is that?
Why? Was there a reason? Or
actually, wait, no, it might not even be his fan. It could have been someone who I think was religious, and he had that song where he's talking about there shouldn't be any religion. I could be right, I could be wrong, but I mean, obsession and love turning into violence and stuff. It's weird, but Taylor Swift has a very active fan base. Yeah, we have experience with them, and
one of them fucking wrote 13 paragraphs on
the voice of 100 people.
We didn't even say anything in that episode. But then same day that the sale happens, Scooter's wife comes out and speaks out defending her husband, of course, and then she claims that this is some leftover shit from the Kanye stuff back in the day that I told you before. And then they start talking about how Scooter is genuinely a nice person, and they bring his interviews from back in the day that they ask him why did you get into this? He's like, I genuinely want to help people get recognized. I want more people to be exposed listening to these lovely people, and basically they're creating his backstory of if he's a nice person or not. One of the examples they gave was, remember Ariana Grande back in the day had a concert in England, I think in Manchester,
and people got
22 people died and everything. He quickly went through a lot of shit to try to organize another concert to basically to honor those people who've fallen to that event.
Did he do it for free?
They didn't mention that in the documentary, to be honest.
Because if he did it for free, it means he's a nice guy. If he put prices
I
there,
think there was donations to I think the money from that second was, but I'm not sure about this.
Was it a terrorist attack or?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, because I wasn't in.
I thought it was a stampede
time.
Or something.
No, that was Travis Scott, I think. That people.
Did you see that video?
Yeah, the mosh pit.
No, but it wasn't. Apparently, people were injected with something.
Oh,
they were talking about because some people were going crazy and.
That I don't know, but this one I'm not 100% sure, but I have a very faint recollection because I was in England at the time that it was some sort of terror attack.
You were there at the time, huh?
I was far from Manchester. I didn't have beer at the time. Yes. Basically, they're discussing how in August Taylor announced she's going to re-record her stuff, and they again bring in a bunch of lawyers and saying that there is a good faith law, I think, in US that basically saying that if she does this, it's gonna undermine Scooter's deal and the contract she previously had with the big machine. And under the good faith law, it's kind of fucked up that she's doing that. I don't think it's a thing that's like she could get prosecuted for it, but I'm not quite sure what the good faith law is. But they're hinting that basically this is like undercutting the deal Scooter made. And then in November 2019, when the claims her claims came out that they're blocking her, and they told her you can only do it if you don't. If you remember, I said like she can't do a copycat version, and she has to leave their names out of it and everything. Again, the Big Machine label puts out a statement on their website and says that this is absolutely false. We have no rights to tell her what to do. If she wants to do this, she can do it. Another time that like they're basically like showing that like maybe she's not saying everything that's happening as it's happening. Then in November 2019, Scooter breaks his silence and asking, please stop the violence against my family. This is fucked up. And basically she never addressed it. Like after he was pleading, he was like, let's sit down and like solve this like individually, like stop it. But she never addressed it publicly. I don't know if there was anything on the private side, but publicly there was never any acknowledgement of that statement.
Public tell her fans to cool it.
But then in October of 2020, the sell to the Shamrock, or the company that's part of Disney, comes, and then Taylor says that she was offered to buy it at this point, but only if she signs an NDA that she stops talking about Scooter. But basically she says that it's not an NDA, it's more of a gag order at this point. Scooter comes out and makes the documents public, makes the NDA public. That's a standard NDA. There's nothing about she can't talk about Scooter. And then again, they bring the lawyers in the documentary, and they're like, this is standard. There's nothing that like backs up her claims. Then this is where the documentary ends.
It's a long ass beef, huh?
Yeah. Well, technically it's from 2019 to 2021, but the backstories and everything. And then in April of 2021, she re-records her first album release, and the sales are insane because they interview like the fans and their perspective, and basically like they're saying that because we know if we listen to the original one, we are putting money in someone's pocket that she doesn't want it to go there. Basically, just rockets her sales up, and then her career in March of 2023, she puts the biggest concert ever in her career, and it basically launches her into like a new realm of like being an artist. And in October of 2023, Forbes declares her a billionaire. She has never been bigger. But then there's all these. Well, there's two categories of speculation, two different things. One is this documentary is done by HBO Max, which is one of the biggest, like other than Netflix and stuff, one of the biggest. But the crazy part is that this documentary, although there's so many Taylor Swift fans, didn't even make it to the top 10. And apparently, if you try to find it, it's very difficult to find a documentary. So there's suspicions that maybe her team are like trying to like
hush it.
Yeah. And then the other claim is that like, did she play the public basically in order to not only get her masters back, but also she
never got them back, right?
She didn't get her masters back, but as of today, I think she's recorded 4 out of 6, and apparently the other 2 are coming before end of 2024. So I don't know. I thought it was a very fascinating thing of like how you can, if you're that powerful, how you can play with people. Not even like necessarily play if her side is correct, but
it's very interesting
how you can weaponize it. Basically,
it's like, you know, it's like that very funny. I wouldn't say funny. I would say it's like that sort of a riddle. I would say, like, Korosh, yourself, would you want $50 million, or would you want 50 million, or let's say, would you want 1 million devoted friends and fans?
Oh yeah, I remember this. We've discussed it. Yeah, the fans, and then you asked them each for like $50 or something. Like it was something like that.
It's the best resource you could have in the world because you have these people, and remember, to them, $100, $10, this is nothing compared to that.
The tickets for concerts, I'm pretty sure, like the VIP tickets,
and then you blame
thousands.
someone and you tell them that I'm being attacked, and all I want to do is give you my music and stuff. But that's the whole thing recently. Actually, it's always been there, but now it's under the microscope. It's like, look at crypto, look at all this. Why am I buying a coin because Logan Paul told me it's nice?
Yeah,
It's
like what?
It's literally the same exact thing. If you support me, you should buy this.
Yeah.
So it goes directly to my pocket, and trust me, in the future we're gonna do good and stuff. It's like that Iman. What's his name? Iman. Have you heard about this guy?
Yeah, I know. He lives here, I think.
Yeah, he lives here. He himself is the equivalent. He also had a crypto coin, which was basically a scam.
Bro, at a point, everyone fucking had a crypto coin.
And that's the thing. It's just...
I've only bought one, like, crypto thing.
I bought a shitload.
No, I never... I bought it early on in Bitcoin. Not like... I'm not saying, like, I was, like, the first people. I bought it early on when it was a fraction of one, and then...
Which one did you buy?
Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin.
Yeah, relatively early on, and sold it pretty quickly because I saw let's say I put $100 in, it went up to like, I don't know, 800, and I sold that. I was like, fuck, this must drop, which was a huge fucking mistake.
You are an asshole, yeah.
Yeah, and then...
I would have been sitting with a billionaire.
There was another project I did there's a channel on YouTube called Yes Theory, which is a very like positive channel and everything. They were putting out a documentary about this guy who wants to go, I think... to the South Pole and swim there, do an Ironman race there. And basically to fund the documentary, they want to crowdsource it. And to do it was you would buy, basically you pay in crypto some sort, and you would get early access to it, and you're basically funding this guy's project, I did that. But other than that, I never...
No, but you see, crowdfunding and stuff it's understandable because you're crowdfunding, you're not exactly looking for return, you're looking for something to be produced. Right,
more of a support,
a support thing. Yeah. But when you talk about these things of because there are many things in Dubai. Also, there was these NFTs, and NFTs have become a joke. 99.9.
I don't hear anyone talking about it anymore.
No, because it was a fad that went and it stole money, and it okay, some of them are still there, have been paused, but majority of them are just absolute jokes. Like I myself bought some. Yeah. The value is zero now. The company's closed down. They're like, oh yeah, we tried our best and this, but it was a gamble. And at the end of the day, a lot of them were Ponzi schemes.
I remember there was a I think he's a social media illustrator or CGI guy. He was like one of the first ones that made a huge deal on it. Basically, the guy on Instagram would put, for like the past 11 years, he hasn't missed a single day of posting. He would make like a weird CG looking illustrations of like politicians and everything. And I remember he was one of the first massive deals that he sold his whole catalog as an NFT and made like, I don't know, fucking, let's say billion.
Yeah, they make the money, but the thing is that the people who hold it, you see, you have to remember something. I can value anything at any price.
Yeah,
I can tell you this cup is worth 10 million, but if no one's willing to buy it, 10 million, it's worth nothing. And that's what NFTs became. Honestly, you had like things that came out. Yeah, the market last traded was 800,000 and this kind of stuff. Okay, when was that traded? And that's, these things were a lot of them money launderings. It's actually the perfect place for money laundering.
Yeah, crypto.
You buy a digital asset which has no footprint in terms of reality and such. It's an image of a cartoon or something like that. Like they used to have this ape. Remember this boring ape or whatever it was called? And you would have celebrities that would go, I have an ape. All of them were gifted. It was an image. It was just an image that was gifted to them. But the value of it skyrocketed because the people who were missing out, they had that FOMO, which was the fear of missing out. And manipulation of fans has always been there.
What do you think in this scenario? From what I've shared with you, obviously you haven't seen the documentary. Which side do you think is more...
I think both are in the wrong in some senses. I think that, you see... I think that not everything has been divulged.
Definitely not. Yeah.
I think there was a lot of conversations in private that went sour. I think that Taylor Swift, in her sense, realized that my biggest power was those first albums and stuff, whatever she made.
Yeah.
I want them back because she wants control. You know what I mean? And as I told you with Apple and stuff, she seems like a person who wants to be in control, which good for her.
See, the thing is, like, the claims after the documentary came out, this is just like from people speculating around it, is that she actually didn't want her masters. She didn't want to pay that money for them because she was like, if I re-record them and like don't pay 300 million or 150 million or something for it, they think that this whole scheme was to an extent planned to basically get support around her to re-record it without paying for the original ones.
But that's the thing.
It's a genius move if it's true.
But that's the thing. You have to remember. I honestly think that that's a very good way of going about it.
Business-wise,
so you villainize someone.
Yeah.
You get everyone around you protecting you, and you say to them, "Look, I'm going to do my albums again." And she's not saying pay for them. She's saying that I'm going to do them with my own freedom and my own this.
Yeah.
And automatically, people are going to be like, "Look, this person wronged her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to support that. I'm going to go with her."
Yeah.
So although you have passive people listening to her, with her call or her call to action, they become non-passive anymore. They want to go and support her. It's like, you know, if you have a person who you listen to, like I myself, I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's such a funny comedian. If he were to tell us all tomorrow, hey, listen, you know, I've made my own production company and I'm going to be making my first solo production, and I would really appreciate if you guys could come.
Yeah,
we're all gonna make a move.
Bro, fucking Louis C.K. is, I mean, Bardi is his biggest fan, so if he was here, would share more information on this. But to this day, he doesn't sell his specials to like big, I mean, they don't want to buy it after the controversy, but from the beginning, he would put it on his website, and the email list he's like basically collected over the years basically would fund his specials, everything he has, and you'd put it at a reasonable price. You just sell it directly to his fans, and there was no issues.
Yeah, and at the same time, he doesn't have to pay certain producers, and like,
he doesn't have to filter it as much.
Yeah. So he has his own freedom. It comes with risks, of course. You can have people who don't come.
I think that's the power of independence, like being an independent artist now.
Exactly.
Like if you listen to, you know, Russ, right, the artist.
Russ, yeah.
He went on Flagrant and he went in details about why he's independent and what's the differences, what's the business deals around the music industry and everything. And I think like once you listen to that and then you watch the documentary, you understand like how the industry is moving, regardless of like if it's acting or just in general entertainment, on how people are getting their powers back, not getting controlled by like the big media companies as much.
But you know, like Korosh, I'd say it in this way, right? Those houses, those record labels and stuff, yes, they have the network, they can get you out there and stuff. But if you could do it in-house, why would you need them? You know, Russ himself.
Back in the day, you didn't have a choice. How would you get on the radios and shit when they have exclusivity deals with the labels? But nowadays, 100%.
Yeah, true. You can do an Instagram Live, you could do that. And the thing is that Russ himself, although the guy doesn't seem, you know, like, his music was good when I was younger. I used to listen to him. He did everything himself. He has his own record label. He has his own this. So he might not make the same amount as Taylor Swift does, but he doesn't have to pay people. He doesn't have to pay.
So, like, if you want to compare, like, Taylor Swift is like 1 in a million within the artist. Forget like normal people. Like that Taylor Swift level of fame doesn't happen. Maybe it happens like maybe once in every 50 years, 100 years, if even. Like there's a couple of people that have reached close to the levels that she's reached.
Yeah, very
so it wouldn't
true.
be like a fair comparison. But if you compare like Russ to like someone that's like more on that level, I'm sure he's a lot happier with the deal he has. He doesn't have deadlines to keep up with
doesn't have someone controlling him, telling him what he has to do.
What to do, what not to do, exactly.
Yeah. And again, to each their own. Like for you, your comfort level is making 50 million. For her, like, I'm sure she never has to worry about money again in her life.
She's a billionaire.
Yeah, she's a billionaire.
Apparently, she's the only artist ever to become a billionaire solely on music. Like, I think Jay-Z is a billionaire, but majority of the money he's made is not from music, like his music. Or, like, I'm sure there's other people that are billionaire, but she's, they were saying in the documentary that she surpassed every other artist that has ever lived in terms of everything.
Yeah. Bro, the funny thing is that, you know, again, these Taylor fans, have you seen the dedication video they made to him?
Bro, they showed, like, to be fair, like she feeds the fans too. Like they were showing like early on, like there was this gay couple that wanted to get married, and the guy realized he wants to get married to his husband while listening to her song. So he sends her a message. He doesn't know her. Sends her a message, basically saying that thank you because of your song. Now I know I want to marry this guy, or some shit along those lines. She comes and performs the songs in their like when he proposes.
Wedding, yeah.
So
But
like
that's PR at the same time. You know,
I know,
it's-
but like there's engaging with the fans that like
Yeah, of course. But the thing is that there's videos out there of people that think it's perfectly fine to sit and bawl their eyes out just by listening to her music. Like I saw,
it moves them, man. It moves them. Like I
So
think
there was a video, yeah. So Ariana Grande also has like an interesting following, yeah, and stuff. And there was a video of her in a music video where she wakes up and she holds her necklace. Have you seen this?
I don't think so.
And then a guy, 6 foot something guy, he must be an Ariana Grande fan. When she does this and hold her, like she seems like nervous and stuff. The guy films himself also when he's nervous. He does this,
Okay.
and it was in such a way where he wrote like, "Oh, she does the same as me." This guy's a big dude, you know, and the comments just grilled him like, man.
That's the thing, man. You can't help but like what moves you. Like, you know, like the same way.
Bro,
that, like,
no. You can't help what. See, sometimes
No, but you
things
do-
don't need to be online.
Oh no, that 100%.
Like I'm sorry, I am the biggest troll on earth. On TikTok, I go at people, you know, and my friends who know my account and stuff, they call me sometimes. They go, "Man, what the hell did you say?" Like, why are you out there going for these people? It's like, okay, I'll give you an example. Yeah, there was this woman, and I think she was American, half Asian, half American, whatever. And she was sitting, wearing her yoga clothes, and she's sitting there, and she looks at the camera, and she's having a breakdown, a mental breakdown, and she goes, "I am good enough. I am strong. I am a female. I'm
she
this."
posted this?
Yes.
Okay, that's
So let me tell you something. Yeah, you see her sit down, and then look at the camera, and then go, "I am the greatest.
it's virtue
I am the
signaling
strongest."
shit, yeah.
And then I wrote, imagine she sat down, had to set the camera up, sit herself in a certain
Edit it,
position,
put a filter
edit
on.
it, put a filter, and then say, "I am vulnerable, but I am the strongest. I am this. I am the great." I'm sorry, that is the cringiest shit I've seen in my life. You can say, you know what? It's like this other woman who apparently she was having an episode, so she went into her bed and started going, like started shaking violently, yeah. Okay. And people goes, imagine she said, "You know what? Gonna put the camera on the bed," and she starts crying and screaming and doing that. What the fuck?
yeah. That's
Be what you want to be, but don't post it. You know, like you don't need to post everything. And then coming back to Taylor, there was another one where they were at a Taylor's concert sitting outside.
Okay.
And she was singing a song, and one of the girls just goes like, man, not even, it's like bawling her eyes out. And it wasn't even,
was it for the camera, or she was just naturally feeling that?
well, she put down the camera.
Oh, I thought maybe there was.
So she
like
put down,
okay,
it wasn't like from far someone was filming. She put it down, and she was listening to the song, and it was a song she hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
You're telling me in 30 seconds you're going to start crying because you associated with the song? Every song, 30 seconds is like, "Yo, what up? I'm here. It's your boy."
I haven't heard a lot of Taylor Swift songs, but I don't think yo. Swift is in the house.
but that's what I'm saying, you know, and a lot of these people, it's just so, bro, it is cringe. And I'm so happy. It's not nice to say, but I'm so happy that there are people out there like me who just grill.
Yeah.
You know, you grill. Because sometimes people need to be bullied a bit.
Yeah.
And well, I've been bullied also. Like on this fucking podcast, I've been bullied. You know?
Bro, our friendship group is like, I think it exists on bullying.
Yeah, we just bully each other, you
Yeah.
know? But the thing is that with Taylor's fans, it's just interesting. And
I don't know. I found, honestly, the documentary is boring. Like, they stretched it out too much. Because, like, the conflict is technically, like, it's just one topic, and legit, they could make it a 50-minute YouTube video, but they made it 250 minutes episodes. But the essence of the story was interesting to me. Because now they're talking about how this is gonna potentially fuck or help other artists coming up. Because
Bro, when we get famous, I'm gonna say, by the way, they kept me in an NDA.
No,
I was this.
not because of that. From the record label aspect, if you're a person that's signing with them, they are not gonna put the remastering clause in the contract anymore. So you won't be allowed to remaster them instead of, let's say, 2 years after your contract runs out, 15 years after your contract runs out.
Jeez.
But then, no, I mean, this is some shit, I don't fucking know. But then it also helps artists to stay away from record labels and do their own thing. So it's kind of like but they say that since this happened, it has changed the industry.
But to be honest, I wouldn't even want that remastering shit. You know why? I've seen so many now celebrities and stuff that just make Twitch. I'm sure you know what Twitch is.
Yeah.
Like a football player, they make a Twitch. They get like 500,000 people that follow them, and on Twitch you can pay.
Yeah.
I think $5 or something like that, bro. They make their money. Like Cristiano.
No, but I think that's a bit different than like the music industry because like,
but people,
what are you gonna do? Go on Twitch and sing new songs every day?
No. But the thing is that's what I'm saying. So, like a football player like Neymar or something.
Yeah.
They play football. They got the fandom.
Yeah.
And now they're playing the video games.
Yeah, you leverage it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it does fuck people up because they see that now they have to make those contracts airtight.
Yeah.
You know, but also at the same time, I think it's both sides that are being affected because now you have artists that are aware that they can go to the media, they can go to this, and then these houses also have to be like, we can't be as greedy with these people. You know,
But the thing is, like, the people you're signing are the people who are just starting.
Yeah, but
you're not signing a Taylor Swift level person at the beginning, you know?
Yeah, but if you're signing someone who's worth a damn, right? He's gonna have more people interested in him. It's not like I'm gonna go watch a 12-year-old. Go watch a 12-year-old and be like, you know what? I think you have talent because
I mean, the guy did it with Justin Bieber, and he's one of the biggest artists.
Yeah, but I'm sure that because Justin Bieber also was signed by Usher.
This is before that.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you is in the beginning, this guy found him, right?
Yeah.
Because on YouTube he was getting a following.
Apparently.
So there were people. There would be other people that would come down and say this. Okay, granted, this guy propelled him to another level.
Yeah.
But again, depending on the talent agency and people viewing it, I think it becomes more difficult for both sides and also easier at the same time. So
give and take,
It's exactly. It's a one or the other. But yeah, man. But also, have you? Yeah. So, would you say you're a Taylor fan?
Honestly,
you're a Swiftie.
It's not that I don't like Taylor Swift. I don't listen to that genre of music in general.
You listen to country.
Yeah, but like I don't know her country songs when she was 12. Like I don't.
That's what
I think she's older than I am, so I don't think I was even. I didn't speak English at the time she was playing music.
I love this song.
Yeah. No, but in general, I'm not a big music person. Like I don't listen to music that often.
What do you listen to? Like whale noises,
podcasts and shit. Like no whale noises. Just sitting in traffic. No, but I'm more into like traditional like rap and like that style.
Yes,
of music.
you are traditional rapper.
Yeah, I mean like none of this like mumble rap shit. Like more old school rap.
Have you heard of this rapper who's deaf?
Oh, was it Brazilian Portuguese or something? Like
I mean, he's black.
I know, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
and he goes
he got signed to a record label.
I don't think he could sign. No, but the thing is that he's no. I think he's blind and deaf, and they call him like.
Bro, his hands work.
No,
he's not an amputee.
No, no, but did you see? But did you
see where? This guy's forehead.
They just put ink on his forehead, stamp it into the thing. No, but he has a song where he just starts moaning. Like
this is every song, bro. He can't talk.
In his head, he's like spitting facts, but in the song, he's like.
He's talking about politics. My mother died last week.
Shit. But I would say thank you for that.
I don't know if it was interesting to you or not, but
not interesting at all. I mean, thank you for telling me about a person I don't even listen to. I think the last thing I knew about her was that apparently she takes her plane and she talks about don't pollute the world, and she takes her plane and they've made a meme that she goes to the grocery store with her jet.
Jesus,
But,
man, you could have told me
thank
this.
you for changing my life.
I would have shortened the story.
No, you
I
were
thought
on
you
a roll, you know. Like I was like,
I know. I thought you were into it.
no. Clearly, I was like, I was sitting here and I was like, so what time is it? Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching.
I'll make sure I will never. I know for the rest of my life, I'm never gonna be like, hey, you know that Scott. What's his name? Scott? Scooter. You know Scooter Braun?
I don't think you guys run in the same circle. He's a billionaire too.
Scooter.
Well, thank you guys for watching that episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it more than he did.
Thanks for changing my life.
Yeah.
Scooter.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out our social media channels. And we will see you next week.